program. INEC expresses readiness for Osun governorship election as civil society organizations warn against vote buying. But let me report I'm hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoji. You did 3 Fridays running. I hadn't seen you.
Yes, I'm here.
Welcome.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, the Anambra boy is Emeka Madonago. I greet you, Emeka.
Yeah, good evening, City.
Yeah.
Good evening, viewers.
So you see, the team is ready. I hope you are. All right, to our next story. About 3 weeks or so ago, embattled R&B singer R. Kelly was sentenced to 30 years in prison for recruiting and trapping teenagers and women for sex. Of course, on the home front, Nollywood actor Olanrewaju James, a.k.a. Baba Ijasha, has been found guilty of sexually assaulting a minor. The legal battle began on the 24th of June 2021 when the 14-year-old girl was allegedly molested by the actor. Baba Ijasha was facing a 6-count charge and was nailed on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5, while prosecution could not prove counts 1 and 6, which bordered on sexually assaulting the minor by penetrating her with the car key. Now, to think that the victim is a daughter of the neighbor, and this is depressing enough. The sentence, according to Justice Oluwatoyin Taiwo of the Ikeja Domestic Violence and Sexual Offences Court, is to run concurrently, meaning he is to spend about 4 or 5 years in total in prison. It is so here we are.
Yeah. I'm happy that this matter has been concluded within 12 calendar year. So at least Baba Jesha knows what to do next. He's most likely going to appeal, and I wish him luck. I wish him luck. But this is a lesson for others like him. There are some positions in which a grown man should not be caught. A man with 32 teeth should not be caught fondling a minor. And clearly his alibi collapsed because at a point during the trial, he wanted the judge to believe that they were actually acting a movie.
That's it.
Yes, that princess actually even wore a dress for the young girl, for the sake of that movie that they were shooting. He then went on to say that, princess told him to suck the girl's breasts, in the course of shooting a movie. Now, don't forget that there was a video that went viral earlier on, in which Baba Jesha was begging Princess passionately, forgive me. Yeah. Yes, I made a mistake, forgive me. Now, when you place that
side by side,
yes, that confession or that video in which he was begging her passionately, with the claim that they were actually shooting a movie.
Without a script.
You leave the judge in no doubt that somebody has not told the truth. And you can't go to the point of rubbing your genitals. This just... No. It just... I know you want me to stop at that point. You are good at that. So I agree to stop.
Emeka, the picture, you've seen the picture? And side by side with what happened to R. Kelly, if you are a star, if you are a star, so to speak, you are cautious in what you do.
Of course, otherwise it's easy to rise to fame and much, much easier to fall to infamy.
Yeah.
So
they say-
the line between fame and infamy is just a thin line. It's a thin line. So stars, celebrities, all these people should be careful. They should guard their conduct, because it's quite unfortunate that too often you find celebrities getting involved in such ignoble conduct. And you find so many young people all over the world. Millions of young people follow these people. I remember when I was much younger, any T-shirt also that had Michael Jackson on it, we had to buy it. We had to buy it. If certain type of jeans came out and they said Michael Jackson stood on these jeans, we had to buy it. It's like that. But look at how look at what became of him later. So it's really unfortunate, because the young people look up to role models. They look at these people up to these people as role models, but a lot of them fall short. Now, to this instant case, I think I must commend the Lagos State government, successive governments in Lagos State that have taken this issue of rape and defilement seriously and really done all they can to encourage the judiciary to make sure that offenders, that suspects don't get away lightly. But there's still a lot of work to be done.
Yeah.
Because there are still cases you hear here and there. And the police. Something must be done about the attitude of policemen to issues of rape and defilement. Because you hear investigative journalists complaining, a colleague of mine complaining, she did a piece, complaining that people, when ladies go to report such things, they are laughed at. They are laughed to scorn. They ridicule them. And this is a social issue, it's a major social issue. You have no right to violate another human being.
I think even beyond the police, our people have this tendency to pile pressure on the victim to not press any charge. Even this one.
Yes.
If not for people like Yabo Ojo and the rest of them, they were piling pressure on this princess that no, this matter should be resolved out of court and all that. Yeah. Why should we discourage people who are victims of sexual assault from going all the way to the court and seeking redress? Why? Why should we, because someone is popular, you then pile pressure on the victim? No, please don't go to court. Sometimes they offer money but think of the mental agony that these people live with many years after. Yeah. So it's a good thing that they were able to see this one to some level of conclusion. Yeah. Maybe it will be appealed, but at least they saw it up to a point. And whatever happens at the end, I am certain that some individuals will have picked up valuable lessons.
And I don't want to hope that this sentence will send the message, down. But again, to our celebrities, let's say this. Talent comes from God. Fame is man-made. You must try to strike a balance between the two. It's not easy, a thing to do.
And character. People must mold, must ensure they exhibit good conduct.
Yeah.
No matter how popular they are.
All right. Baba Jesha, we are sorry about it.
No, I'm not sorry.
I'm not sorry about it. He was even lucky to have escaped it. I felt the sentence was light.
If it was somewhere else, in the Arab world, maybe in Somalia,
or even maybe in the US,
you will not. No, in the US, it's a democracy. They do not see one video that went viral. A man was brought to court for rape, and the judge left his seat, just went straight to him, pulled down his boxers. He already had the kitchen carving knife.
Wow.
And he just cut off the tool.
Okay, like at that point.
Some people have called for castration.
Let us, gentlemen, let's go to our next story.
Is he not lucky, Citizen Jones?
No, but we must speak out vigorously.
Remember that video.
We must speak out vigorously against things like this.
All right, okay. we remain human beings.
Yes.
To our next story, it remains a curious irony that as the sixth, some say we're the seventh now, sixth largest producer of crude oil on the planet, we are yet to come to grips with petroleum products availability crisis. Makes you wonder if we are not dealing with a crisis of ignorance. Marketers in our country unilaterally raise the pump price of the PMS from 165 naira to 185 per litre. This is in disregard to federal government approved pump price of 165 naira per litre. Now, the disappearance of long queues at filling stations around Abuja metropolis boggles the mind. Now, Major Oil Marketers Association of Nigeria, MOAN, says the current price is no longer realistic. Emeka, are we not dog-tired running on the same spot?
Yeah, we need to find new options, alternatives to this fuel debate because it has become a recurring decimal and it takes a lot of man hours, it takes up a lot of money. No refinery is working in Nigeria.
By choice.
No public refinery. Then even the modular refineries, I wonder what is going on with them. Then we import this commodity. I think
import also by choice.
Yes, we need to move away. We need to move away from these things. You see, much of our transportation is land-based. Lagos State government has been trying to encourage marine transportation, but you see the dangers, inherent in it as well. But you see, we need to take the debate to the point where we must be honest with ourselves. Is food deregulation really desirable? Do we need to buy the bullet? Have we not deregulated to the point where there is nothing to deregulate anymore? Should we just do something about it? And then those refineries, in what state are they? Should we continue to subsidize? To just be throwing money into a pit in the name of budgeting for refineries that for years have not produced a drop of oil. With that debate needs to be settled. But you see, the current administration has cleverly decided to defy it to the next administration. But you see, like I tell people, if you like, you can say, okay, we'll do something in 5 years. One day, 5 years will arrive. So even by postponing it, it will not make fuel available. This is July. Give it a few months, maybe by September. Then December, who knows what will happen by December. We must bite this bullet at this point. We cannot continue to delay action.
Judy, again, it beats the mind, boggles the mind. 4 refineries decidedly crippled, and we think it's best to import these things at so much cost. And there's this talk about subsidy. Is it real or imagined?
No, there's no doubt that there is subsidy. Whoever says there's no subsidy is
not being fair.
A dishonest person, a dishonest fellow to say there is no subsidy. I think it stares us in the face now that there is subsidy. Because what is the current global price of a barrel of crude oil? By the time you look at the value of our currency, you look at the landing costs, because this is a global commodity, and what we sell it here is dependent on how much is sold in the global market. There are no two ways about it. If the price goes down, goes really down to maybe $20 or $30, the burden of subsidy will be low. It is at such times that some people can say there is no subsidy. But if it goes to 100 and something, yes, Nigeria should actually make money when it goes to 100 and something, but we are not making money.
We are not.
Because the subsidy bill is huge. You then have to, because you don't want to sell at a price that will worsen matters for the ordinary folk in our country, you then must subsidize. There are different layers of subsidy, even in that sector. Government wants fuel price to be the same across the
bridging
country.
cost, yes.
So you come up with petroleum equalization fund and you pay bridging claims
cost, yes.
to tanker drivers, so that when they move the commodity from Lagos all the way to Maiduguri, the cost of transportation and all that, you pay them so that they can sell at the price that it is sold in Lagos. So the landing cost for the person who has a filling station in Maiduguri can never be the landing cost for the one here in Lagos, because the tank farms are here in Lagos. You know, the ships berth here in Lagos are the huge tank farms. This is where they are. So somebody who goes to lift petrol in what's this place called?
Atlas, or
Mosimi, or even the other one where Oshitelu used to be chairman.
Yes.
Ejigbo, thanks. You can't expect the landing cost to be the same with the person who lifts the product from here and goes all the way to the north. Okay, government now says we'll pay your bridging claims for that. In the past, when we had pipelines that were active, that were not being breached by undesirable elements, you could stay in Ilorin, and at the depot in Ilorin, you can lift
petrol.
Yes, you can lift petrol at Suleja, but things have changed. If you try to pump petrol into those pipelines now, they're already waiting. Those who will steal the
and they know
they're already waiting. In fact, before you, there was a day, I think Kachuku told us, we met Kachuku, goalkeeper said to catch a petrol. They were waiting. So this is the thing. Now, diesel, one of the main reasons these guys are finding it difficult to break even now is the high cost of diesel. Diesel was being sold at 255 naira per liter back in March. Today, in some places, it is 850. In Maiduguri, it is 1,000 naira per liter. In most parts of Lagos, it's around 750, 790. So, and it is the tankers that lift petrol to all parts of our country, whether it's within Lagos, it is diesel that you use to fuel those tankers. So the cost of running the business will naturally go up. Then let's go to even filling stations. If you must keep your filling station running from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., which is the ideal time, you are thinking of using no less than 100 liters of diesel
to run the gen.
You know that the cost has gone up because diesel has come to really make life unbearable for these people. And they are saying, you can't expect us to be selling at the old price.
It's rational to make such
an argument. A lot of these marketers, especially the independent marketers, they still buy from depot owners. There are some big depot owners that you see they sell at the official price. It's because those ones take directly from the NNPC. But those who still go and buy from those depot owners will sometimes sell to them already at 167 naira per liter. So do you then expect them to sell at a loss, sell at 165, when even the depot owner sold to them at 167 naira per liter? So we've talked about this thing before. There has to be appropriate pricing. And I don't think that it is workable anymore to continue to insist that petrol must sell at the same price all over our country. I was in Owerri. In Owerri, there are no queues. But people over time have been used to buying it.
250.
Some 200, 250. I mean,
in Akwa I hear there are no queues. There's petrol there, but the pump price had been jacked up.
Yes, because people now have to pay for the fact that the cost of the landing cost has gone up. So this is
So
the thing.
I think for once, government must come to the rescue, Emeka, because what's the point being a producer of crude, and you're still in a mess like
We are
this?
the only OPEC country that is exporting petroleum products. The only OPEC country
No, you're exporting or importing.
that is importing petroleum products.
I don't know what they go tell your grandchildren about this in future when they hear it.
No, that is if they don't, if they aren't still full accused by then.
Okay. Because they will ask questions.
They will ask, how did it happen? It's just mismanagement over the years.
No, but in the early 80s, we had Esenko. Do people tell their children about that there was a time when Nigerians queued to buy milk, sugar, and all of that?
Emeka, conversely, when I remind people that in the Second Republic, a liter of petrol sold for 15 kobo, they think I was speaking.
No, they will tell you are lying. Today, inflationary rate in our country is 18.6%, which is a 65-month high. I don't know how people will survive if things continue to go up in this manner.
Okay, then, let's take a breather here, and we have some commercials to take and come back. Please don't go away.
Oga, now you be the landlord.
Yes, Nami.
Oga landlord, me go need 1 room for this your house. So.
Okay, sure you get work where you dey do.
Yes, I be nurse.
You no go dey owe me be that now.
Now how much be your rent, Sef?
Na just 90,000 naira. Wait, this guy, where you come from, Sef?
Oga, I come from Akamata.
Akamata, no talk am again. My spirit and Akamata people no dey ever join.
Oga, wetin happen now?
Come up for my compound. Na so baba thing na people sabi do for that Akamata. Come up for here.
Haba, Papa, wetin this innocent girl do you now? Now people like you, they spoil Nigeria, Papa.
I think you don't see am now. My people they talk say jollof rice wey dey for bottom pot today go dey top of cooler tomorrow. As I take need you now, so you sef need me. Because now one mama we get we be Nigeria. Make we love ourselves because now only together we go fit make our country better for us and our children them. One heart plus one love equals better Nigeria. Now the Center for Democracy and Development CDD with support from the UK government they bring in this message.
All right, then. You know, the jailbreak at the Medium Security Correctional Center, Kuje, on July the 5th, raised the roof, in a manner of speaking, following the escape of about 800 inmates. Now, a flustered Nigerian Correctional Service heaved a heavy sigh of relief as some 421 fleeing inmates were, bailed out of Kuje custodial facility. They have been recaptured, even as 454 others are still at large. Of course, we cannot oversight the 64 suspected Boko Haram members who were freed after the ISWAP terrorist group attacked the facility. Now, the House of Reps Committee on Correctional Service has waded into the picture with the summons of the Minister of the Interior, Ralph Aregbesola, and the Comptroller General of the Nigeria Correctional Service, Halilu Nababa. Now, the House Committee on Correctional Service, the head is Edwin Anayo. He said the visit to Kuje revealed that only 115 inmates were met at the facility. With more than 69 terrorists on the loose, Jide, anything is possible.
Yes, and, you can see the UN has warned the staff that in Abuja now, you've got to behave yourself. Don't keep late nights. These guys will certainly be on the prowl now. A lot of them will have reached their destinations right now. One was arrested in Ogun State here.
Yeah.
Don't know how he ended up in Ogun State.
He came by road.
So, because by the time they settle down, we will see some terrorist activities around the seat of power. We had warned that those guys were coming into the North Central and the Northwest. Those warnings were largely ignored, But as we can see now, it's the same people in government who used to dismiss those warnings that are now telling us that virtually every attack that took place must have been nice one. The one in Owo was ISWAP. That one was ISWAP. But at a point, you are denying that these guys were spreading their tentacles. Now, look at the mess we found ourselves. Around December last year, the DSS issued a security warning indicating that ISWAP members were coming into Abuja for a meeting, coming to the Federal Capital Territory, for a meeting with bandits in the area. Yes, I saw the DSS security report. Now the question is, what did we do? Because for this band of criminals to have attacked a prison not far away from the seat of power.
That's it.
And operated for over 2 hours. It's a national shame.
Unchallenged.
It's a national shame. We have army barracks, navy barracks, and other security formations around the federal capital. Some of them not even more than 20 minutes drive to that place. Yet we allow this to happen. You see, we will never be able to rearrest all of those who escaped.
Oh, of course.
The ones that escaped in the east, because we've had 14 jailbreaks during this administration, 14. The ones that escaped in the east, a good number of them have not been rearrested. They are the ones killing people all over the place in the name of ungun men. So, what we should do, what the National Assembly should be doing is sitting with these people and taking steps that will ensure that these jailbreaks do not happen again. If you put just 50 security men carrying AK-47 at a prison where you had terrorists, the most dangerous kinds of criminals, if they come with 300 fighters, of course they will overrun the place. And that's what we have seen.
3 on a bike.
Of course, that's what we have seen. If you must keep the worst of criminals in our country in a prison, it shouldn't be a medium security prison. It should be a maximum security prison, an impregnable one, because we know the implication of letting these people loose. People are afraid in Abuja. They know it's bad enough that we have bandits.
Maybe this is why nightlife seems to have been crippled in Abuja. No alcohol, I'm told, must be sold at a particular time.
That's what the minister said. I'm not sure many people will agree to that. I'm not sure.
I don't even know what
Emeka, is it about the people agreeing to what is, or the people knowing there's wahala on the floor?
Oh, people, no.
But people must enjoy now. Like this Friday, for example, you tell people to not go and drink. They will drink. Nigerians happy-go-lucky people.
Yeah.
Nothing will stop them from drinking. They'll drink their sorrows away.
Yeah, but also tell them nothing will stop these terrorists on the loose from targeting soft targets.
Well,
I think really the truth needs to be told. I was taken aback when the Minister of Interior said the jailbreaks, it sort of made it look like jailbreaks started after NSAS. But before NSAS, there were 4 jailbreaks. So what was he trying to do? Trying to, did he think Nigerians had forgotten that there was a list of how these things happened. And it's not about just fishing for excuses. It's about telling Nigerians, what exactly have you done to stop these things? Now, he came out the other time we had this program where we challenged the minister to tell Nigeria, where we challenged the government to tell Nigerians where the Boko Haram suspect that the Attorney General of the Federation said were being prepared for trial. And they said they were in this place, they were here. But at the end of the day, everybody is afraid right now. Not just in Abuja. Everywhere. People are afraid. If one suspect could find his way to Ogun State, who knows where the others? The others have found
even
themselves.
as we speak.
And now the member of the House of Reps saying that he saw how many? 195. And you say you recaptured 494. Is it that you moved some to another place, or
Maybe.
what is really going on? So the ease with which we've had 14 jailbreaks, I mean, it's really embarrassing. But the saddest aspect of it is that nobody has been sacked. Nobody has been punished.
No, it's not this time.
Or nobody has
Nobody
Has
heads
thrown-
did not
nobody
roll,
has resigned.
nothing. Nobody has even resigned out of shame. So what do we have? People keep looking for excuses and excuses. I think
Emeka, don't ask for the sun. You
No,
may ask
we
for the
were
moon.
even told that the custodial center, this particular one, was world class. World class.
and no CCTV cameras and all that.
But again, I want to believe it is true that intelligence came ahead of time and you had good enough time to react.
No,
Is it deliberate that
No.
you will ignore things like that?
No, let's even assuming without considering that we got intelligence that they were coming. Don't we have something like a rapid?
From the claims and counterclaims we're hearing, intelligence, they said, sounded everybody out. These people are coming.
I've heard, but they said the intelligence did not tell them which particular custodial center or prison they were going. I've heard that. You see, my own argument is okay. Let's even assume that on the level of intelligence we fucked up. Was it not enough to mount some form of counterattack? Reinforcement to the location to ensure that these guys never got away? How can, in the Federal Capital Territory, how can criminals operate for more than 2 hours at
Without
such a facility? And when they were done, they left the scene. You know, if it happened in the northeast,
oh yeah,
or some village in Adamawa State, where occasionally you see Boko Haram strike, Garkida, the rest of them, I could excuse it that, okay, no, they didn't have enough security men on ground, to stem the thing. But to imagine that in the seat of power, not far away from the airport, they operated for that long.
There's certain things will happen.
That is the shame that is there, that they operated for that long.
Certain things will happen in our country that set you wondering. Are we really serious people?
No, you just pinch yourself, asking yourself, is this real? Is this true? Are you just staggering out of bed?
It's as if you are watching, as I say, a poorly produced horror film. All right, I hear we must go to our next story. Okay then, all roads, as they say, lead to Osun State on Saturday, that's tomorrow. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has expressed readiness for the exercise, even as it has strongly cautioned against vote buying, which is a new craze amongst politicians in our land. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu has assured the Osun electorate of inclusivity, credibility, and security, adding that the choice of who becomes the next governor is entirely in the hands of the people of Osun. Professor Yakubu talked about the establishment of the Electoral Offences Commission and Tribunal as recommended by the Justice Ways Committee in 2009. This was reinforced by the Lemu Committee in 2011 and the Nnamani Committee in 2017. Now, a bill is under consideration. We wish the people of Osun a rewarding time out as they play by the rules of the game, Emeka.
Yeah, of course, but I find it, really disconcerting that the EFCC in Ekiti State, he claimed it arrested people. It arrested people for alleged vote buying. Up till now, we've not heard anything. So the point is that there must be enough deterrent to make people not want to commit crime. But the situation where those agencies tasked with law enforcement are actually lax or don't even care. They just come for the press. Okay, we got 10 people. And you don't even see anything. Nobody is being prosecuted. And then that tells us that the issue of vote buying is real. And it persists because the security agents don't want to put a stop to it.
Okay. All right. We'll turn things over now to our man at the scene. We have Ayo Ozugbakun, who is a correspondent. Ayo is ready to paint a picture for us. Good evening, Ayo. How are you?
Good evening, Jones. Talking about painting that picture, DIG in charge of the operations that for the election tomorrow, DIG Kokumo, has declared a curfew between 12 midnight as the usual practice till 6 p.m. 12 midnight today, restriction of movement, vehicular movement in and out of Osun State, and the exercise is expected to start 8:30 tomorrow and rounded off by 2 p.m., all things being equal across the 30 local governments. And we told you earlier that over a little bit over 1.5 million people will be, participating in this exercise to choose the next governor. I think the candidates will be from 15 political parties. I'm not doing this alone. I have the director of Yaga Africa with me, Cynthia Bamalu. Cynthia, the new menace, as Jones put it, vote buying. In your pre-election analysis, you guys mentioned it in Yaga Africa.
Yes, and that was because it's already a part of the elections process in Nigeria, which is a sad turn of events. In our pre-election observation, we started to even track voter inducement. So in fact, campaigns were not about issues or getting voters to support a party. It was about who had the most to spend. So cash payments were made. Livestock, was also exchanged. Gift
Livestock?
Livestock, yeah. Although some also said it was because it was almost close to the celebration, the Salah celebration. So it was also a good inducement, obviously, because if you cannot afford to get the ram and someone gives you a Salah ram, you know what that means for the family. How much is one ram, So it's unfortunate, but that is what we've seen so far in the pre-elections phase. We saw this in Ekiti, and it's sad that this is becoming a feature in our elections. And the political parties, no party is even totally absorbed from this, because the political parties and the candidates are looking for how to amass more wealth to buy voters. Now you have very strategic ways of buying votes in the elections, and it's a worrisome trend because regardless of the new electoral act that criminalizes vote buying, specifically there's a 1 year imprisonment, right? And
1 year?
Yes, 12 months. That's 1 year imprisonment. That's the new penalty for vote buying. But we've seen that it is not stopping the culture or the attitude. So some days ago, we went to communities to have voter education outreach. Some places around Ede, some places in Oshobo, and some other LGAs. And some of the voters already made up their mind that they are selling their votes. And some of them, we told them, no, don't sell your vote. And they said they are even looking for who will buy their vote because they do not believe that the government exists for the people. So for voters, they also think that, yes, that for them, this is the only time we can get something from this political class. After this time, they will not need us anymore. So you can also see that the politicians have learned this new weapon of vote buying to keep the oppressed class in a constant state of oppression. And they have taken away that free will of people to choose by introducing money. And it's unfortunate. This is what we're seeing.
And some don't do it at the polling units. They would have perfected that act just before the election.
Yes. We started seeing a lot of door-to-door campaign. It was started in Ekiti, and we tracked that in Ekiti, in Osun too. And at first, we thought it was a good thing because when you see door-to-door campaign, we thought it was
an effective way of
reaching
mobilizing people.
Before we realized it was more about targeting your resources specifically to homes and households. So it's almost like there's a prepaid and postpaid now, because there are expectations that if we give this household this amount, this is the expectation of the number of votes we intend to get from here. So on elections day, you may not really see it may not be as visible because you will need to look keenly to know that it is going on elections day.
Okay, Julie asked me a question yesterday. I will ask you that question too. Osun State did over 70% in terms of collection of PVC. How would this match the commensurate with the turnout tomorrow?
Well, so last election, Osun had about 45% turnout.
45% in 2018.
In 2018. Although it was a decline from the 2014 elections. However, because if you look at the consistent trend, we've seen a further decline in turnout. In recent off-cycle elections that we've had, be it the Ondo, Edo, Anambra, even Ekiti, we've not had a really good turnout. However, there is some hope in Osun because Osun is normally a politically active and conscious state. And so if you see 45% is even more than we had at the presidential election nationally. So you can see for the state, it seems to be a good figure. We are not certain if we would have an increase from 45%. But one of the things we are hopeful for that if we have over 76% PVCs collected, there's a likelihood we may still be between 40-something% turnout. But if we have a 50%, that would be a major win for the state. However, it's a bit doubtful because we have voters who are still not necessarily interested in participating.
Because I wanted to ask, what would make you pick your PVC and on election day you're not coming out to vote?
Yeah, I mean, because you know the PVC, beyond being the major guarantee to vote, we've seen that people also use it as a form of identity, right? But there's also the interest towards the presidential elections. And you know this is the last off-cycle election before the general election. So if you look at the trend in even registration and PVC collection, Osun is one of the states that had a high increase in newly registered voters.
Yes.
So there are several permutations that part of this is also a drive towards the next elections because Nigeria, we have a lot of focus on presidential elections, you know. However, looking at the trend in Osun and the way the campaigns have gone so far, we're not very optimistic we'll have over 50% turnout, but one of the things we're hoping for is that we wouldn't have a further decline from what we had in 2018.
Finally, we saw an improvement in the operation of beavers in Ekiti State.
Yeah.
Now, the general assessment, now this is Osun State. What is expected of INEC?
Out for one is that they have done enough training for their officials that will be using the machine because most of the machines they don't have an issue. Sometimes it's about training. Some people do not understand how to manipulate it on elections day. So we're hoping that there's been better capacity building for officials who are managing the beavers. The other part, only the beavers malfunctioned but was fixed. So it's important that there is tech support on ground. So even if there is fault, that it is immediately resolved because you know that the beavers now is very important in our elections. That if beavers is not deployed, the polling unit's result for that polling unit will be cancelled. And you know that Osun is will be contentious. So
that's what that electoral act says.
Yes.
That if the beavers is not deployed, the polling unit will be cancelled.
Yeah.
So from ECHA does not suffice.
Yes. So it's either the election is held the following day or there's no election in that. So the beavers is that important. The elections, if it's not present, they can move the elections the following day. However, if the number of registered voters for those polling units will not affect the outcome, the elections may not hold in that polling unit. But I also wanted to state the importance of the permanent voters card in these elections because the new guidelines determining the conclusiveness of elections will be based on the numbers of PVCs collected in those polling units if it is more than the margin of lead between the parties. And I wanted to stress this because you know in Osun we had a rerun in 2018 because the margin of lead between the APC and the PDP in that election was lesser, that the difference in the vote was lesser than the number of registered voters in the 7 polling units that were cancelled. So they had to go for a rerun. And even in that rerun, the difference of votes was barely 400 and something votes. So it was a close election. So Osun is likely going to be contentious. So it's also important that INEC makes public the PVC collection data for polling unit level. Not just LG, but polling unit level. That
Cynthia and Bamalu, after the election, I'm sure we're going to do a post-mortem of the exercise.
Yes, hopefully.
All right. Jones, over to you in Lagos.
Except that I was going to ask if you had spoken with any of the Osun townsfolk. Is he or she ready for the exercise?
They're ready. They're ready. They're ready. Everywhere is quiet now, and people are buying and selling. They want to just make sure that the stuff ahead of the curfew tomorrow, they just stuff there with household items so that they'll be able to go out to exercise their franchise tomorrow.
Many thanks for your time. Enjoy your stay. Jide, you are wondering if it is possible to have a look-see, ahead of tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of how the voting will go on.
That's it. Because look at two figures interest me here. 1.9 registered, 1.5 collected, 1.5 million collected the PVCs.
Yes, it's significant. That naturally should reflect willingness on the part of the people to exercise their franchise. But just as Cynthia said, some collect PVCs simply to use it as a means of identification, collect money in banks and all that. But I want to believe that more and more of our young people are becoming interested in the electioneering process. We've seen a rise in the rate of registration, So I want to believe that the turnout will be good enough. I don't know whether it will be higher than the last election, but it should be good enough, because if people can take the pain to go and collect their PVCs and 76% have collected, that should reflect in terms of the voter turnout. It should reflect on the voter turnout ultimately.
Emeka, but the fly in the ointment appears to be this critical thing called and known as by the name of vote buying.
Yes. Eddie Boesebe, which is in local parlance.
Eddie Boesebe,
that means
vote
cook. Good soup.
Whatever
So,
that
I mean, it's unfortunate that poverty has become weaponized in the country, and that people have been pushed to desperation. Look at what the Yaga lady in Bamalu was saying. People say that they don't believe that this is the only opportunity they have to get anything from the political class. I mean, these are the things
they
we've been
collect
talking about.
the thing and then they complain and whine throughout 4 years.
Yes, but you see, when the people do these things, you need to ask questions. Why? There is a weapon they are fighting. I'm not justifying what they are doing, but the ruling class should also make the country better so that people don't have to resort to such desperate measures. Because collecting all this, how much are they even going to be given? Even if it is a ram, 250.
Yeah.
How long? Whatever you have eaten would have gone off your system by
That's
now.
it.
So,
Yeah.
but the next 4 years will be critical.
And yet we get told that voting does not matter. Yet votes are being bought.
Politicians keep buying votes.
Jide, what strikes me would be the Electoral Offences Commission and Tribunal, which the INEC chairman is talking about. Because if nobody is punished and be seen to be punished, it will continue.
It's about time we had a court dedicated to trying electoral offences. On election day, soldiers arrest criminals, those who want to snap ballot boxes, police make some arrests, but we do not hear about prosecution because we think that, it is INEC that should prosecute. INEC, by telling INEC to prosecute electoral offenders across the country, where do we expect them to find the money? Because the prosecution is not cheap. If you want to file a matter in court, costs a lot of money.
A lot of money.
So we shouldn't simply saddle. Yes, INEC is the organizer of the election, but we shouldn't simply saddle INEC with prosecutorial responsibility in this case.
Because if INEC remains the whipping boy,
because it then has to look for lawyers across the country who will handle those cases. You can imagine if we are certainly going to have electoral offenders in all the 36 states.
Yeah.
36 states in some cases, dozens of them in some states. How do you expect INEC to be able to prosecute all of those people?
My worry is if INEC remains the perpetual whipping boy after an exercise like this, why can't we arm INEC?
No, I mean, I'm much more concerned about the impact that will have on its finances.
Okay.
Because to hire lawyers, it's not as if INEC has lawyers that are employed working full time with it. It has to hire lawyers, it has to pay them. It's not the Ministry of Justice, for example, that has some lawyers at its beck and call. For every person you are prosecuting, you are spending money. You are spending money. Every time the case is adjourned, you have to go. You return to
money is
court
involved
on the adjourned date. You have to spend money. You stay in an hotel. These things cost money. So we have to find a way. If we are determined to deal with this issue, we have to find a way to solve that problem and take that burden of prosecuting electoral offenders away from INEC.
Okay. All right, that's where we apply the brakes for today, but not before thanking Emeka Madunago for coming.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And of course, Jide, thank you for your time. That's it on Journalist Hangout today. You may watch a repeat broadcast of this episode at 11 later tonight. Join us on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 for the 2-hour edition. We are also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye now.